Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Signal 11 Outdoors. And today we got a great guest, somebody I've had on my short list from the get-go, Bob Stavola of B-Stav Fishing Nation on YouTube.
What's up, brother? What's going on? Thank you so much for inviting me. This is pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's been it's as new as for me as it is for anybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm glad you came on. Like I told you earlier, I had you on my original list of that I wanted to talk to, because when I started doing this, which is not very long ago, I think only you'll be like the seventh or eighth episode. My plan
Right.
was
Wow, it's
the
awesome.
reason. Yeah, it's
Dude, I'll tell you what, you really you came on strong, man. You don't do anything small. So I know you're when we talk, you're like, I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, but it's like, dude, this is incredible. Like I'm pretty amazed. Like you see my eyes are kind of going all over the place, but dude, this is some professional stuff here. I'm like, I'm outclassed.
no, you're definitely not outclassed. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Right.
But the reason
Yeah, I know.
the reason why I started this was, and I've said this a few times, but not to sound like a broken record. I wanted to do
Right.
some videos of how tos and stuff. So over the years of me doing this in my business, I've met a lot of people, and I figured I'd do a couple long videos or interview type of things because I think it's cool. So I threw
Right.
Signal 11 Outdoors as kind of my new, it's not a new name, but it's just kind of a generalization of outdoors. And
Right.
you're a fishing guy. I think you're like the second fishing guy I had on here. I'm planning on
Yep.
having fishing, hunting. Who knows? I might have survivalists on here. We'll see where it goes. But
See, this
whatever.
can this can go anywhere, really. I mean,
Yeah, it's
it's
it's it's
exciting.
just what we all love.
100%. You know what? Listen, you made a career of service. I made a career of service. We were outdoor guys. We didn't sit behind desks, and I did for a little while in the latter part of my career, but basically we were outside. We were out there mixing it up with everybody. We love being in the outdoors, and I think with your job and my job, for me, fishing, and then ultimately hunting for you, the hunting end of things, but then still, the fishing end of things, the lip glue and whatnot, and that was our release, man. That was like our salvation to get away from some of the crazy stuff that we saw on the job.
100%,
So
100%. So yeah, you're right. Bob did a career as a police officer. I did a career as a firefighter, and now we're both strongly into the outdoor world. So,
yeah,
like you
I
said,
enjoy it.
absolute. And the guest that I did last week, which will be probably airing before yours, he touches on the
Right,
same thing, and he's a high pressure guy with his job, but also
right.
hunts. And it seems like everybody I've spoke to so far, it's kind of what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to grab guys who maybe have a career doing something else, don't always get to talk about the outdoor stuff, and I know everybody's passionate about it.
Right.
That is hunting and fishing. That's
Hmm.
kind of the plan of what I'm this endeavor is all about.
Gotcha.
And before we get started, just to make it clear, because some people might not know who I am, some
Right.
people might not know who you are, but more
Yeah.
importantly, Bob is really interesting. We're going to talk about this because he started up a YouTube channel, and it's doing quite well. I think you have well over 2,000 subscribers now, right?
Yeah, it's slow to coming, but yeah, I just keep my eyes are focused forward. I try not to look too often in the rearview mirror, and it's a slow build, but I enjoy it. Retired. Actually this year, June 1st will be 10 years retired. So, I did this to start just to keep myself busy and to kind of, I was a training officer and all that crazy stuff and, instructor in the academy and all that nonsense. And man, it's like all of a sudden we're retired and it's like, what am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing with myself? Yeah. So I kind of put that twist of giving my fishing purpose. I am nobody that's setting the world on fire. I'm not writing any books, a few articles here and there, but not, I pull from everybody that I learn from and I try to twist it, make it my own, see what works, see what doesn't, and then I try to share. Like I want others to say, if one person watches all my videos and says, you know what, I'm a better fisherman because of it, or he reminded me back in the day when I used to go fishing, in such and such an area for flounder, and boy, you brought back some memories, and man, then my job here is done. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to get rich. It is what it is. I'm okay. You know what I mean? I'm doing okay. So
Yeah,
it's
no, that
fun.
makes sense. You're doing
Yeah.
something that you're enjoying. You're enjoying the whole process of what you're taken up,
Yeah.
which is new,
And
is
yeah.
the recording end of the fishing. I mean, obviously you've been
Yeah.
fishing for a while.
Right.
I have to, before we get going, I mean, I have to say the reason I got to know Bob after he started his channel and everything, and what I'll tell you, and I've told this to Bob before, and I've heard it from other people. There's something really unique about what you're doing. I mean, you know, okay,
Thank you.
you're fishing, you're recording it, you're putting it on YouTube. That's all cool. Other people do that. But the only people I really watch are the ones that intrigue me for one reason or another. Okay.
Okay.
You're intriguing. I mean, I got to tell you, I love the humor. Okay. I love the humor. You
Yeah.
know, it reminds me of the same kind of stuff I'd be saying, joking around with. Love the fishing content. Love your
Right.
boat.
Thank
Love the
you.
way you interact with people across the water from you while you're fishing.
Yeah.
And
Not everybody gets called the jerk off out there, right?
exactly. So I feel where
Some
you're
people
coming
I'm
from.
actually friendly with.
Yeah, I know. I love all of
Oh
it, man. I
God.
really do. I think you got a great thing going.
Thank you.
I don't. And when you get into it, tell us how long you've been doing it, because I don't. I've only known you for like 2 or 3 years. We're going to
Sure.
touch on the fishing stuff and B-Stav Fishing Nation, and then we'll talk
Sure.
about some of the hunting stuff you started doing with video. So, if you don't mind, why don't you give us a little background on how the heck you got into what you're doing now? Because I think you're already successful. It's
Thank you.
short or as long as you've been doing it. So I'll let you take it.
Okay, so long and short, again, I'm coming up on. I just celebrated my 35th anniversary of having gotten hired at the police department part time. The end August this year will be 30 years anniversary of hired full time, and this June 1st is my 10-year anniversary of retirement. So, I got when I tell you I got lucky, I got lucky. I know no nobody in my family who's ever law enforcement. I know I have family members in South Philadelphia. They're rolling over in their graves on their drop gun, like that somebody in their family's a cop. Um, but yeah, once I retired, I'm like, I love fishing. Fishing and golf was my real true passion. And I got to the point I would play golf almost every day. And I got to the point I was way too competitive, and I got in my own head. And if I played like crap, I'd sulk for 2 days. I'd be Les Miserables for 2 days, right? And then uh, fast forward February of 2020, a buddy of mine, old South Philly bricklayer, PD Durante, 73 years old, still played with Ping Maple Woods, right? That I used to have to find for him, guys that redid their clubs and whatnot. We passed away suddenly, not COVID related, passed away, heart attack, and man, it just took the wind out of my sails. And I think since February of 2020 till today, I probably played 5 rounds of golf total, where I used to play 5 times a week. So where my focus was on golf and fishing, now it really just kind of honed in on fishing. And then I thought, well, maybe I could do a little more with it. I mean, just um, I tell you one guy that I make no bones about being a devotee of this one guy is John Skinner fishing. I think the man watching his videos while I was still working, man, he kept my sanity while I was at work and got me through midnights. You know what I mean? And I've caught more fish. I realized I'm a better fisherman because of not him just out there fishing and fishing and fishing and look how great I am, look how great I am. It's look how good I did today and why. You know what I mean? And there was always and why. I mean, literally tutorial videos. I mean, of this particular, I call it the Skinner rig, tie this rig. Watch some underwater footage of, this is why, how the fish are, what's actually really going on with a flounder chasing after your lure. So I'm like, maybe in my little way, I could kind of do that. Now, he's really what sparked me throwing a GoPro on my hat and going out there and trying to establish this whole B-Stav fishing, nation and this persona and all that. And I've enjoyed it. I'll tell you, like anything else, you've seen it in your career. I've seen it in my career. A bunch of alpha males, or, a bunch of about alpha males trying to see who could piss highest on the tree, right? I'm a short little guy. I just walk to the next tree and take a leak. So I never got caught up in that nonsense. But you also know that there is, every now and then you got to watch because sometimes there's a dagger sticking out of your back, right? And when you're successful, or even if you're just out there enjoying yourself, I don't know, it goes up other guys' giggies sometimes. And I've had to deal with some ridicule. I've had to deal with some true backstabbing because of the way things are, just that I'm out there doing something I love, and I'm enjoying a little, I call it a modicum of success. And the B-Stav fishing has brought me in different avenues. I've written a couple articles for the Fisherman magazine, and Jimmy Hutchinson Jr. to collaborate with the likes of him. Amazing, absolute. Just, I mean, man's. I send him what I write, and he is the chief editor, and he add Bob. Let's add this. Let's change this. Let's doctor this up. Doctor that picture. And next thing you know, man, I almost look like I know what I'm doing, and it's a shame to say, but for some people, I've had some knives come out of nowhere and poke me in the back, but you know what? I used to always let that motivate me, and I still let it. In fact, I've let it motivate me a lot more even this year. So, but that's why I kind of did it. In fact, I was just kind of like cruising along. Last year wasn't the best year, wasn't a great flounder year, and there's a reason for it. That John Halkias, Jig and Jerks, he and another collaborator mentioned, and I'll bring that up if we get into it. But I just enjoy it, and I'm having fun. And on the days I'm successful, I want everybody to enjoy the success with me. On the days I shit the bed, I'm not going to go out there and show you every day was, one after another. Sometimes, man, I'm on the struggle bus, and we've all been there. And I just try to keep it as realistic as possible. So, and listen, without blowing smoke or anything like that, like, you're one of my earliest supporters to the channel. I mean, you reached out to me out of nowhere. Next thing I know, I have products showing up at my door, and I make no bones about it. And everybody, what I joke, but I'm like, lip glue to stink. I put that shit on everything, and it's no joke. I brought this down Florida, Steve, and I'm an old Procure user, right? I still have it on my boat, but I am telling you, and I showed it and I proved it on my videos. Procure versus lip glue, man. I had a successful trip, a month down to Marathon, Florida, and lip glue to stink. It had a lot to do with it. Even passed it on to Elias V Fishing. He
Yes,
used it.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was hell bent on getting him a bottle, and I brought a new bottle down with me because I knew I was going to run into him, and I was stalking him. I was stalking him like an ex-girlfriend. I found him. We actually fished together. I could go on. I don't want to chew up the time here, but I can go on and on and on singing that man's praises. Just what a humble dude he was, at least for me. And
Yeah.
he used your stuff, and he liked it.
Yeah, no, I
It's
appreciate
proven.
I actually
So
I saw that. I saw the clip of that. Actually that footage of I think it's actually he's got footage. His footage is enjoyable and your footage is enjoyable and you guys are
yeah,
both there. which is
it's
really
neat.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
neat. I just tried to be quiet though. You know what? Because I I'm here, right? And I don't lose sight of that. You know what I mean? I'm here. You're talking guys of, I mentioned Skinner, Elias, like these guys are here. Not to mention it's his livelihood. The last thing he needs is some Bobby Stavola, the groupie, B-Stav fishing. Hey, look at me, Elias. You know what I mean? While he's out there, I'm like, he went that way. He's like, yo, I'm going to go out here in the channel. Okay, and that was, him saying, come on, let's go to the channel. So, okay, I'll meet you out there. Go. Like, just go do your thing. I pulled up, but I just stayed away from him. I was fighting a fish. He hollered over to me. We kind of exchanged, a little bit of back and forth here and there, but yeah, it was neat. I mean, it was neat. I was kind of, I told him at one point in time, and I know I kept it. It was in my video. I said, I'm fighting a grouper in front of him, and he's there watching me, and I said, you do realize this is like singing a duet with Elvis, don't you? And he just kind of giggled and laughed, and that was it. I didn't want to just keep elaborating, because the dude's working. Like, I mean, the dude's serious about it. This guy travels all over the eastern seaboard. You know what I mean? But funny story though, we had a guy that while we were out there, guy comes over to me, and two guys and a dog in a small boat, and the boat's name, center console, was Gabagool, right? So I hear them saying something. They're like, yo, hey. I'm like, Gabagool. I said, I knew I liked you guys. And then I saw it was from New Jersey. The guy's like, yo, is that B-Stav fishing? I'm like, yeah, that's me. He goes, yeah. He goes, yo, I heard Elias is down here. And I'm like, he's over there. Man, they left me like the house is on fire. They're like, oh, see you, dude. Thanks. But you know what? Even and then Elias, middle of work, still, was cordial, was nice, and we all joked, and then we all went right back to doing what we were doing. But
Yeah, that's cool.
but yeah, but that it's getting back to your original question, Bob. Why did you do, and why did you start what you're doing? It's moments like that, dude. Uh, it was moments like that, So
Yeah, I mean,
it's cool.
it's funny because everything you're saying, I mean, the Gabagool guys aren't quite, they're not quite at your level yet with the filming and stuff, and you're
No,
not quite at Elias's level, but everybody
well, no.
starts somewhere. Yeah, but
We all
everybody
got to
starts
start
somewhere,
somewhere. We all
and
started what? Right, riding the back of the truck, right? Humping
absolutely
hose, right? Bob,
right,
Bob, take that corner there on this job here. Wait, what do the action's over there. I don't care, Bob. Go
right,
over there. You're the young.
right,
You're the boot. You're the rookie.
right.
So, yep.
Yeah,
Got the
and
loser.
your goal doesn't have to be his goal. You know what I mean?
No,
Like me
nope.
doing this, my goal of doing this is, I found out that I enjoyed doing it, and it's going
Sure.
to help me do some how-to videos. I was actually before I did the how-to videos, I put it off for years because I didn't even know how to start. So
Right.
I started doing some videos with some other guys, the NJ multi-species guys,
Good
and
dudes.
I almost got a little comfortable at doing it. And I said, okay, now I'm going to do a little more so I can start doing the how to's. I haven't done a single how to video yet. I'm planning on it. I'm
Right.
enjoying this talking to guys like you, because it's cool to have a conversation like this that people can look at and listen to, because I enjoy watching you on the water doing your thing. And
Cool.
I got to be honest with you, I really didn't know who Elias was. I've seen him before, but now that I saw him with you fishing with him and stuff, now I'm following him. So my
Yeah.
point is that everybody does this for different reasons. Ultimately, you
Right.
have to enjoy it. We all enjoy
Yes.
it. And if you're having fun, whether you have 2,000 or like me, I have 30 followers, it's all good because when I
Got a
get
call
done
free to
talking to
walk,
you,
right? Yeah.
yeah, when I get done talking to you, I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna go, wow, that felt pretty cool, and I'm gonna learn something from you today.
Oh, right.
As
And
we talk, it's
likewise.
interesting.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You and I
interesting.
get on the phone together. Sometimes we're like two old ladies, right? I mean, next thing you know, it's like, holy shit, an hour went by. Like, where did that go? But we're kibitzing back and forth about a myriad of things. You know what I mean? And usually it's all related to hunting and fishing, which hunting and fishing brings a lot of people together. You know,
Absolutely does.
it
Sure
really does.
does. And I'll tell you what, it saves almost everybody I spoke to so far. They all say it saves them from depressing times because they love being out there doing it. And it's not literally depressing times, but it's so much
No, you're
fun.
right. You're
I
right.
got my kayak right outside the house here. My kayak's ready to go. I've had boats. I mean, I've
Right.
watched you go through I think two different kayaks, at least one boat.
Yes.
Um, and it's cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned Skinner. I love watching Skinner on that boat he has, that kind of older boat that he's on a lot. I guess it's his own boat.
Oh, you don't have to be out in a 30-foot contender, right? You don't have to be out in the
Exactly.
big dogs. Yeah, now I think he's in a Grumman, right? He's in the
Yeah, I
aluminum
think so.
boat. His boats up
I
here are
think
all
so.
aluminum boats.
Yep.
Yep.
I enjoy that. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I love seeing the guy on the really nice big boat in the
Oh,
center
me too.
console,
Yeah.
decked out. But it's cool to see it. I kind of me personally, I kind of gravitated toward the kayaks. I got rid of all my boats now. I kind of got into the
Right.
kayaks because my son has one, I have one, my friends have one, my nephew has one, my brother-in-law. And it's
Right.
kind of cool because we could go fish local ponds or a river, or, me and my buddy Jeff, we go down, we fish the bay a lot, go into
Right.
salt water. So I kind of gravitated toward that. I don't know if I'll stay there forever, but right now I'm loving it. So it's cool because I know you're doing kayak footage as well as
I
the boat
did down
footage.
Florida. That's all I brought. I towed it down to Florida with me. I mean, would I have liked to have had, part of me almost wanted, like, maybe I'll buy a 17, 18-foot boat to bring down with me if I ever decide to go down again. But the kayak was fun. I was able to get in some areas where you couldn't get into with the boat, and had probably one of the
Yeah.
best days on a quarry where I was able to, kind of lift a boat over boulders, and it was bananas. But kayak's fun. I got to get up and do some freshwater bass fishing with you. That would be so much fun. I get somebody to watch my dog, and I get up there and we'll shoot the shit, and that would be a good time.
Now, have you ever tried taking the dog on the kayak?
You've never
You
met
don't
my
think it would
dog.
work? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I
That
gotcha.
unfortunately, my poor dog is a product of my maniacal, batshit crazy
Gotcha.
persona, and yeah, he's a nervine man. I've had him on the boat once. He was outstanding. It was a hot day, so I had to take his life jacket. I had this, I'm like an overbearing parent. I had this 4 inch thick neoprene life jacket, and he's sweating his gavadeals off. But you know what? He was fine. Like I kept his e-collar on him, and when in the event while I was drifting with got the Minn Kota up front. So nothing's going on. We're just nice slow drift, and I let him go. I take his leash off, let him walk, and he was good. If he got up on the casting platform up front, if he got close to the rail, I'm like, no, I didn't have to correct him or nothing. I was like, get off, and he just comes. He was cool when we were moving. If I was underway, I would clip him up, and then I would just kind of keep him next to me. So God forbid he didn't fly. If he went in the water, I'm pretty sure I would probably panic more than he would. He's never been in the water before, so Pitbull, he's I don't know that he could swim, but yeah, it was. I've never had him on a kayak too. I got too much shit on my kayak. I have so much shit on it. He'd need his own, you know.
Yeah.
But
And the only reason I asked you that is because I've gone out. My nephew a couple times would bring it. He's got a small dog, and he'd bring
right,
that dog out, and we'd be out for a couple of hours. He'd bring water and stuff for the dog. But
sure.
he's a little guy. He used to have him like in a little cardboard box with like a bed in there, and that
Mm-hmm.
dog looked like he was having so much fun. And then when the fish
Yeah.
would get pulled out, wait, hold that mug up. Let me see what you got there.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, it's my red solo cup
nice,
and Toby. Man, I'm
nice.
telling you,
Amen.
we'll get into that. But
Cheers
yeah,
to
yeah,
cheers to
his
Toby.
here's cheers to Toby. His death, man. I know I took that hard. I don't know why. Not like I ever met the guy. Man, that's just something about that's one of the reasons I went to Florida. I'm like, man, you know what I mean? The guy was bigger than life. But
Yeah, I mean, listen, uh, speaking of him real quick, probably
yeah,
the most incredible thing is the last time he sings "Don't Let the Old
good.
Man In" at that whatever that was a video.
That came up right
I
now.
don't know
We
how.
have to shut down because I'd be in tears.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's unbelievable. That's just
I was
incredible.
wrecked.
But
Yeah,
what a life! What a life! Luckily, I got to see him a couple
yeah.
times and in
Wow.
concert, and too soon, too young, and terrible. But
Yeah,
you know,
too good of a person too, man. Too good of a
yeah,
person. Too was tried and true.
definitely, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
But
yeah,
I
you're
wanted
saying
to
your
ask
nephew with
you.
his dog, right? I'm sorry,
Oh
I
yeah, my
kind of cut
nephew
you
with
off.
the
Yeah,
dog.
we're all over, but
Yeah, no, I saw the mug go up. That stopped
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. I'm
No,
thirsty.
my
I'm
nephew
sorry.
with the dog was cool because I just watching the dog enjoy. It looked like he enjoyed himself. But what I was going to say is I wasn't
Yeah,
sure. Like the dog was very still, and my nephew will be watching this, but the dog
right.
was very still, and you almost wonder after a while, boy, is he having fun? But I know he was because when my nephew would catch a fish, the
Yeah.
fish would come out of the water. That dog was up at attention, sniffing, licking all over.
Oh, that's
Check the
awesome.
fish
Yeah.
out, make sure it was a good, and then back in the
Yep.
water the fish went. But it
Oh,
was a
cool.
blast. So when I hear people say they have a dog in a kayak, I almost think like that's what you're supposed to be doing, But it's not for all the
Yeah.
dogs, and it's
No,
not for all
no,
the
it's not.
owners.
Some dogs
Yeah,
are nervous Nellies. My dog, if
yeah,
I guarantee I can control them. Like I know I'm pretty big on controlling your animal and having a good, well-mannered pet. And I've always had purebred, so now I got a pit bull. So the stigma with pit bulls, especially what I saw years of work, and he's best dog I ever owned. I mean, sincerely, the best dog I ever owned. He was my co-pilot on the 24-hour or 26 hours down to Florida, the 24 back, and man, I, I couldn't ask for better. So I know if I would just have to take like my Yak Attack basket out of the back, and there's room, but there's also stuff I need. So now I don't know where I put some of that stuff, but
yeah.
eh, maybe I'll get him
I
his own
got you.
kayak. Yeah,
Yeah, you never know. He might
you
maybe
never
get
know.
towed behind you.
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to ask you? I hope and again, I'll pop some stuff up so people know where to see you.
Oh,
We
cool.
want to make
Thank you.
sure they check you out on YouTube at B-Stav Fishing Nation. So
Yep. Thank
I
you.
just bring that up and I'll pop that up. But what I
Yep.
was thinking is I wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
Because like you said, me and you have talked a lot, and for something that I asked you about was how you were videotaping with. I could tell you had something on your hat.
Right.
So I picked up a GoPro from a friend of mine who I did a podcast with. He upgraded to some different versions, I guess. And then
Right.
I talked to you about getting the clip for the hat. And what I wanted to ask you for people who are watching that maybe maybe they don't want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe they fish.
Sure.
Like me, I asked you a little advice on what kind of clip, because I see you taking it off. So for
Right.
the guy that just wants a videotape for himself so he can remember the big fish he caught or be able to
Sure.
watch a lot of his footage. I'm just curious because you've been doing it. I don't I fish a lot, but I haven't fished at all with a videotape or a camera rather. I'm
Right.
gonna go out with the GoPro. Can you just give, for whoever's watching that may want to go out and fish and take some video of them and their family? What's like a basic setup that you think they would need to just go enjoy themselves and be able to capture a little bit of the moment,
Oh, sure.
and
You
maybe
know,
maybe turn it into a photo or something?
yeah, listen, it's actually easy. It really is easy. You can make things in life as simple as you want or as difficult as you want. Like I'm all about the KISS theory, right? Keep it simple, stupid. I just try to leave the stupid part out, right? So keep it simple. I have an old GoPro Hero 8, um, Hero 8 Black. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm probably just jinxed the crud out of myself, but it still works great. But it's literally I have my GoPro Hero 8, and there's a clip, and it's just I used to have the band that would go around your hat. A lot of times though, you caught the brim of your hat, right? So you were getting the brim of your hat a lot. So um, now I have a clip, and it's literally, and a lot of people see me clip, and they'll see me reach up, look to see if make sure, please God, I'm recording, and then clip it back up. But it's like an alligator clip. It'll literally clip on the brim of my hat, and then the camera sits right here, right? The camera will sit right here. So um, still, just got to make sure you adjust a little bit. I keep it on the widest super view, so you kind of get everything, in the background, or you get, something happens out well beyond the boat, up close to the boat, you're kind of catching everything. And that's it. Now, some guys will put the harness on and they'll record from the chest. I have all that. I haven't used it. I just like the look of my videos when I have the GoPro basically sitting right here on my hat. It's easy enough. I mean, I know what's it, DJY, or they make the drones, right? The Maverick Mini and all the Mavics. They also make now basically like a GoPro camera, and I know they're pretty highly rated. And from what I understand, they're a lot less money. But GoPro is the one I know, and it's so versatile. Or you could clip it if you want. I'm probably going to start doing some things where I actually maybe clip it to the hard top on my boat, on one of the piping and whatnot, and so maybe get a different angle so you actually can see me fishing instead of seeing just what I'm seeing. But it's easy. It's easy enough, you know.
So up till now, everything you have on there is all shot with that one GoPro?
That's basically it. Yeah. Yep.
Really? I'm going to
Yep.
tell you. I mean, I've watched a lot of your videos. I've never really thought about it, and I'm thinking about it now because I asked you about that clip, and I got the clip.
Right.
I don't know why, and again, I got to give you credit because I don't think you really. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some people tell you these things, some people probably don't. Just thinking back, I've watched numerous videos from you. For me to think that all of that's filmed on that one little GoPro is actually hard to believe because it seems so elaborate what you're doing. But
Right.
however you're doing it, and man, you make it look even more grand than just a GoPro on your hat.
No,
Being
thanks, man.
honest with you, so
Thank you.
that's really cool. That's actually
I
really cool,
appreciate it.
especially for somebody who's just starting up doing it.
I'll tell you, they're an amazing. They really are an amazing little camera. In fact, I mean, what are they up to now? Like the Hero 8, the Hero 13, or something like that. And you'll see sometimes, like I'll watch some of the guys that I'm watching, and you'll see them, the fish will hit, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, am I recording? Where I don't know if the newer ones, you'll see guys will reach up. Like I watch Skinner sometimes, and he'll fish on, and you'll see him reach up real fast to turn his camera on, and it's seamless. Like so what I'm wondering if the camera isn't on, kind of like the old in-car cameras for the police. When you turn your lights on, all of a sudden it records. It pulls up the last 10, 20, 30 seconds of what happened. So I don't know if they do that, but it really is. It's a hell of a little camera, and you know, again, I'm using an older model, and it's just I love the way it's just easy. It's just super easy. I bought an iPad. I used to download everything to my phone, and then make my videos literally like this. And my eyes aren't what they used to be. And you know, I'm sitting there trying to make videos and can't take calls or get interrupted by calls. Now I have an iPad, and I just let it seamlessly download, um, and go from there. It's pretty easy. It is a neat little unit.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
anything about them. I purchased from Guy Bryan. I did a video. He shot a world
Right.
record bear, and I did a podcast
Wow.
with him, and
That was
he was
awesome.
selling stuff, whatever he's upgrading or whatever. So I picked up from.
Sure.
So I have a GoPro. I think it's a 13. I have a remote that you wear it on your wrist, I guess. I don't
Oh,
know
nice.
anything about it, but
Right.
I told him this. He inspired me. I've shot bear before, and I have it on my wall, and it was all cool, and I kind of stopped doing this podcast talking to him. He inspired me to go after another bear with the bow, and then I get the camera from him,
Wow.
and watching you doing your videos and stuff kind of
Right.
inspires me to maybe. I'm not looking to do those kind of videos, but for myself, videotaping my kayak fishing, I'm out there with my son, my nephew. We're all having a good time. I can have some good footage, even if we just share it amongst the guys amongst us.
Yeah.
And so things that you guys are doing, like you're doing, he's doing. He has a YouTube channel as well.
Right.
It's really inspiring people between fishing, what you're using to fish, how you're doing it, whether you're on a kayak or a boat, and now hearing about how you're doing the actual video footage, because it really seems like there's a whole lot more going on the media end, but it's
Yeah.
plenty because it's captivating footage and it's
Ah, thanks,
crystal
dude.
clear. We could hear you, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. A lot of guys are using like, especially with the newer models, they're using a remote Bluetooth mic. And I don't even know if I could use it with the 8, but I've never even worried about it. Like if I upgrade, if I start to, upgrade my equipment, I'm definitely going to have a mic. It does sound, you do get a nicer quality of audio, but so far so good. You know, it's so far so good. So biggest thing is the batteries, the battery life. Like I'm constantly buying new batteries, and the new batteries definitely last a lot longer. But I'll tell you, the heat, they get hot down that Florida sun, and once our Jersey sun gets cranking in July and August, that camera gets hot. So but yeah, it's pretty neat. And dude, you're always, you've always been that guy in my corner. Like, you're always complimentary. You're always like, lifting me up. I told you, a story where, something happened to me last year at a tournament, and really, really took the wind out of my sail. There's three things you don't ever want me to feel, emotions: mad, embarrassed, or hurt. I don't want to feel any one of them at any one time, than to feel all three of them at once. And man, you were like right there. You're like, dude, don't let it motivate you. You know what I mean? Let that, let that stuff like puff your chest out, and let that be what you just go from 87 octane to 93 octane and stomp on the gas. And you're always that guy that's behind me, dude. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, I'm, you know, I'm like that with a lot of things in life, but with you, I told you before that certain people I stopped watching it because I enjoy watching your stuff better.
I
And when
appreciate
you
it.
gave me, and it's just different,
Yeah.
the comedic value is great. The fishing is very, very realistic fishing, which
Yeah.
the regular guys do, which is cool. We just went over to how the videotaping quality and all is
Right.
perfect. You're consistent with getting stuff out there. I look forward to it. And I remember you telling me that story, and I'm like, dude, they're jealous. I mean, people get jealous
Yeah.
of people for different reasons, and to
Yeah.
me, you're one of the. To me, I look at you as one of the more accomplished fishing video guys out there on YouTube that I look forward to. And
Oh,
I
thanks,
only
bud.
really subscribe to like 5 different people. You're one of them.
I
And I've
appreciate it.
seen a million of them, but I don't really subscribe to them because I'm like,
Right.
I don't know if I want to watch. I don't think I want to see this guy every day, But with yours, I
Right.
look forward to it. And
No, I appreciate
so,
it.
yeah, no, never look back, dude. Keep going forward,
Yeah.
110%. And you're doing great, and just stick with it. And
Nah, thanks,
that's
dude. I
advice.
appreciate
Listen,
it.
I would give that advice to anybody, but
Yep.
you're actually doing it. I mean, you're actually it seems like every time I watch one of your videos, it's somehow or another, it's a little better or a little of this. And you don't forget your funny lines, which I'm telling you, it's awesome, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
I come
I
up
don't
with
know
some
if you got,
silly shit, man. But our careers, though, like, right, we always had, like, you know what I mean? We have guys that come up with some funny stuff, and it's like, it's so funny too because like I try, I have more stuff up in this noggin of mine that's bouncing around, and I try not to say some. I really try not to curse. Like I'll say shit, you know what I mean? I put that shit on everything, right? I say shit. I try not to drop the F bombs or anything else because I did years ago. I cursed, and I had an older gentleman, an older viewer, and man, he let me have it, and I'm like, okay, I get it, and I get it, and if that's who my, and for me to even say I have a fan base, kind of, I feel like a tool belt, but if that's who my fan base is, I don't want to insult my fan base, but I'm real. I'm still real. Like, I mean, man, I could blow my stack if something bad happens, and the stuff that comes out of my mouth is, some of it is prophetic, some of it is poetic, and some of it is just, psychotic. So, but yeah, I do the one thing all the time, and I don't know what I actually make myself laugh. I'm like, if I can't make myself laugh while I'm out there and like, laugh at myself, then if I'm making a joke, usually I'm making a joke about myself, right? Before I break on anybody else's stones, I'm gonna. But like you'll hear me like that, when I let a fish go, I'm like going straight to the bottom, and I got people quoting that now. I'm like, dude, that's so cool, and it's just something I just kept on like in my head. It's just that maniacal repetitiveness, and it's just, I don't know, it works, it
it
works.
does. I think it's part of the character of the whole show. It's
Yeah,
you, it's the
yeah,
show, it's the YouTube channel. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, something that I could mention real quick that some people may not understand unless they were in our careers and stuff.
Right.
Because of you in the police, the line of work, right? Not only to deal, and me as a fireman, yeah, we're public servants. We dealt with the public, but we also basically lived our lives with coworkers, right? And a lot of times I'd come home from the firehouse and I'd have to consciously change my vocabulary because I'd be
Oh,
slipping out some words. Yeah, I come home, I
yeah.
have 3 little kids, wife, come home. I'm not in the firehouse anymore, So when I left Newark and I
Right.
drove back up to Sussex County with a cup of coffee and maybe I didn't stop
Yeah.
anywhere, you walked in the door and sometimes you may not be talking to your family that way, but
Right.
somebody'd call me on the phone and I'd be right back to the firehouse talking. She'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh man, I gotta," So you got to learn
Yeah.
to control that, but you also learn a lot of the funny stuff, a lot of the funny gestures
Oh
and
God. Yeah.
sayings. I mean, people have said to
Yeah.
me, "Dude, do you have a book? Like you read a different slang thing every?" Nah, there's so much buried in our head from dealing with all these different people we worked with over the years.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of
Yep.
bunch of characters.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Um,
Characters, like, you're right. Like you said, like characters too. Like any of the guys that are regulars on my boat, I give them a character name, like Mike the engineer or Johnny Bucktails. Big Ed the landlord, and yeah, I try to give everybody, try Tony Bones, my nephew. I try to give people like character names just to make it interesting. But you're right, man. We worked with some like when I got hired, you got hired. We still have Vietnam vets on the forces,
Absolutely
and the
did.
department.
Yep,
It's like, yep, thank
yep.
God for those guys. They
God,
taught you,
God bless them. Yeah.
yeah, they taught you respect in the house. They taught you respect to be respected on the street. And man, some of the stuff they came up with that came out of their mouth, oh God, man, it was like you almost wanted to write it down. If you didn't remember it, you almost wanted to write it down because it was so good to use later on in life.
Well, you're right. I mean, they taught you also how to get through life with thick skin and not let people realize they're getting under your skin if they are.
100%.
You never let them know because they're never going to stop. But the
Right.
funny thing about writing it down, I worked with a guy, got may he rest in peace, probably one of the funniest guys on the job, right?
Right.
Sammy Papalardo, just a character. He literally wrote down the nicknames of every firefighter in the city of Newark. He pretty much gave everybody the nickname. Now, some people earned it by
Right.
doing something stupid the first week on the job
Yep.
or
Yep.
whatever. They made a mistake and it created a nickname. But
Sure.
yeah, there's a list out there right now of nicknames, and it's funny as
Right.
heck. But
That's great.
Yeah. Bob,
That's
I
great.
want to segue into something else. So we talked about
Sure.
B-Stav fishing, um, which has been going on for a couple of years. You've been doing it, right? The
Yes. Yep. A
recording.
couple years now. Yeah, I'm like in my third or
Yep.
fourth year, believe it or not.
Yep.
I can't believe it.
And it's going strong and it's cool. And, um, I'm going to mention, you mentioned the product of mine that you use. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And
Oh, dude, it's incredible.
however it got into your hands, I'm glad it did, because you're like so many other people that I know where, people have told me straight out, like, like I don't use any stuff like that, but I love it. I use it. And so I appreciate you using that stuff.
Oh,
That's all fishing stuff. But what's interesting is you have taken the turn and hit hunting now. And I
yeah.
love it. It's good. You got good stuff
Hold
going
on,
on.
let me
So,
change my hat.
oh,
Hold on. I
oh
gotta get my hunt hat.
no.
We gotta go
There you
hunting. Hold
go.
on. Hold on. We gotta get Cletus.
Yeah.
Cletus has got to get out. All right, Cletus is here. Get her done.
That's great. Leave that on, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, hold on. Let me slowly flip it up. Yo,
That's great.
this is so old. This hat, man. It's been with me for. Yep, it's
Yeah.
been there forever. But yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna probably start sweating and pass out. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's great. But I mean, I wanted to talk about that now a little bit. I
Right.
think it's cool and it's kind of interesting because I kind of doing this podcast, I'm doing like the outdoors things. I want to cover the fishing, the hunting, the outdoor stuff.
Sure.
So B-Stav has now has plenty to do in the cold weather too, because
Yeah.
you're doing the hunting and you're capturing some great footage and you're doing
Yeah.
well successfully. Tell us
Try
a
not
little
to
bit how
stink
you.
sometimes. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to keep my, you know what I mean? Just trying to keep myself from being all
yeah,
stanky and
that's it.
yep, you know it. But
Keep that
yeah,
with you.
listen, I got, I'm telling you, this past year was something special. I've been hunting for a long time, quasi successful. Then I stepped away from the game for years. I mean, I used to duck hunt. Um, yeah, I mean, I even like I went down and found my old what are they, hate ales? Yeah, to hate my old hate ale, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
nice.
Like out of my
Yeah.
buddies when we were 18, 19, 20 years old. I was the only one I was the last to shoot because I'm always down and everybody boom, 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 boom. Great, I got to drop this and grab a gun. I'm the last one. I'm just watching feathers, but you can tell I haven't duck hunted in forever too. I think I just scared every duck in like
Yeah.
a quarter mile. But um, yeah, I all of a sudden like I don't when I retired, like I've done bird hunting and the upland game and all that. And my favorite hunting of all time, honestly, was duck hunting because you didn't have to be quiet. You could drink your coffee, chuckle with your buddies, just keep an eye out. You're out, you're freezing your ass off half the time, but it was neat. And you're somewhat on the water still, right? But man, the peace of now that I'm retired, the peace of being out in the woods, quiet, you know what I mean, with nothing but your thoughts and your senses and you've seen you'll see this, it might be 100 yards away, it might be a leaf, might be an ear, and next thing you
Yeah.
know, here it comes, and then it's kind of like being back at work, right? The bell goes off, right? And you're like, working fire, work, you're like, work for us, shots fired, boom, 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 boom. Like here we go, here we go. You know what I mean? It's like we're getting that adrenaline. All of a sudden, we're superheroes again, and we got a purpose. We have this purpose all of a sudden again, and it's that fire that we kind of lost, I think, when we retired. And you can
Right.
see I'm kind of getting like worked up over it. I'm like, give it a time. I'm like, I might bust out into a Nugent song in a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get some
Nice.
cat scratch fever right now. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like I was out of the woods. I haven't hunted deer for 9 years. And I remember a couple years ago, oh 02, so 20, no, 23. I want to say 2023 or 2022. I had gotten a hernia surgery, right? I had it repaired laparoscopically. So much easier than the surgery I had in '03 where they, sliced me open, all that nonsense. I was out of work for weeks. This year, 2 weeks after hernia surgery, I'm like, I decided, you know what? I want to go hunting again. Like, and I go down where my mom lives and dipped into the woods. And next thing I know, 2 weeks after hernia surgery, at the second to last day or the last day of Jersey buck season, The buck that's, and I was only doing a stalk and walking stalk because I had nothing set up. I didn't even have an area. I just went in the woods and started walking, stalking. Next thing I know, I'm sitting there and I've seen some deer, out, but it was Jersey buck season, so you only allowed a buck. And I'm leaning up against this tree, and like an idiot, because somehow, again, even at our age, this thing's always attached to me. I pull my phone out. I look down like this to check the weather because it was getting ready to rain. I look up and there's a deer staring me. I mean, I'm like seconds, and this buck is staring me right in the face. I'm like, what do I do? Like my shotgun is resting across my legs as I'm standing there. So I'm like, I tried to, I didn't even know what to do. Like, I'm like, can I snap shoot? I had a window to shoot him. That window shut real fast, man. I started to come up slow, and man, he blew out of there like a $5 whore out of Camden, man, and he was gone, right? Blew the whole patch of woods out to the next street and whatnot. I'm like, okay, but let me regroup. Let me think about where I'm at, right? And let me think about this. And I start looking around. I'm standing right in his house. Scrape, rub. I'm like, oh, you dirty dog. I'm literally in this buck's house. I'm like, look at and then as I'm walking, I'm like, oh my God, dude, you should have never been on your phone. I was so out of practice. I'm in the middle of his kingdom. I let everything cool down for a couple days. I go back in. Now, I don't have a blind, right? I have no blind. I have no tree stand. I'm not a climb. I have a climber. Hasn't been out of my shed in a decade. I'm like, my short ass is meant to be on the ground. I'm like, well, what do the Indians do? They hid, and that's what I did. I went and sat in a laurel bush. I literally brought a bucket. I dropped some corn where he was standing. Let him come out. I figured if he comes back out that one spot, he'll look down at that corn, and I got him. I sit on a bucket in a laurel bush under a holly tree. I'm hoping I'm sprayed. It's like 7:02 in the morning. I mean, we're like right at that legal, within the half an hour of sunrise, sunset bullshit. And all of a sudden, deep in the darkness off to my right, I hear something. I look, and man, I just see this dark figure. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I get the wind, and I'm like, all right, my wind is not going that way. I'm looking wind wise and all that work and all this. I'm trying to get back in the mindset. Out he comes all of a sudden, and I'm like, I'm up, right? I'm up through the hollow or through the laurel. But like, I don't want to take this shot just yet. And all of a sudden he bounced, boom, boom. I'm like, oh man, he smelled me, right? I'm like, how could he smell me? The wind's coming from him to me. He didn't smell me. He just jumped out of the dark hollow area, and all these dark laurels. Comes out into the clearing in the woods. Sure enough, Steve, he took the same path. Now I'm looking through about 40 yards away, 43 yards away. I see his feet at the like coming through the bottom of everything, and all of us, and I'm up, I'm on him, and I'm like, oh no, we ain't doing this again, or the asshole, right? He come there, he come between these two trees. He put his head down. He start eating. He looked up again. I'm like, we're about to eat backstraps. Boom! I let him have it with buckshot. He drops. I'm like, I pop up. Do I stand up? Right? I'm like, oh no, we ain't. No, I'm waiting for him to move. I'm like, yes. I'm like, now I'm like, now the adrenaline's dumping, but I'm like, all right, just hold it together, Chubby. And man, he went to get up again. I stuck another one in him. It was lights out. So that day, I killed a buck after 9 years of being out of the woods completely. Last day of Jersey buck season, and I also got to claim a couple pellets in the tree that he was standing next to too. But fast forward a couple years, this past year was probably the most amazing year I've ever had, and I was invited onto a friend of mine that I've known since kindergarten onto their farm in my town 2023 to help thin the herd. They just had, when I got there and saw the amount of deer that was on this farm, I couldn't believe there was that many deer in my town. And these are all streets I patrolled. No, but these things, we all know that they dip in and dip out, and where they come from even a couple miles away, but they made their way into this little ecosystem of a farm. And this past year though was the most banner year. I will never repeat this year. I'm not invited back to the farm. My buddy kind of I don't know what something clicked in his head. Everybody else like, Bob, you're doing exactly what we want. And all of a sudden, man, he like I don't know what happened. It is what it is. He unfriended me off of Facebook. I'm like, oh well, you know what? You chalk it up to the best year I ever had. But I killed 10 deer last year. I
Wow.
dropped 10, took 10 deer to the butcher. They're all not in my freezer. I have a lot of friends, even family members of the farmer and whatnot, and friends of mine that people were struggling, you know. And again, it's that whole giving back thing. And I tried to even record. I got recorded some of my hunting videos, but I knew friends were struggling. I have a friend that lost his hunting area where he and his son no longer could get out, but really missed having a deer meet. And so I shared the majority of those deer all went to friends and family. But yeah, I tried
Nice.
two big bucks, two really nice bucks, a beautiful piebald that who's obviously showing signs of some of the genetic mutation degenerations, degenerate, issues that piebalds have with like the brittle bones, and both horns were snapped off. It had a gaping wound. I'm like, man, this poor thing. God bless him, he's making it, but he made it. He made it to the butcher too. But I'm waiting on that. I'm doing a half mount with the front legs. I got my 8-pointer back from the second day of early season. I'm waiting on the piebald. Should be next, and then I got 9-pointers coming as well. So it was a good
Good
year.
for
It
you,
was a
man.
crazy year.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good year. Blessed, man. Blessed by, I don't know where this year came from. I'm just glad that God, put me in the right place at the
Yeah.
right time. So,
Well, you got to enjoy it because not every year is like that. So you do the best you can to
oh
enjoy
no,
it.
no
And
way, no way.
but we got to, and this is what this is what I was leading to
Right.
as we're going to wrap it up soon. But I wanted people to know that B-Stav Fishing has B-Stav Hunting, fishing and hunting, and you guys are showing the hunting stuff. And
Yep.
what do you
Oh,
got?
oh man, you know the deal.
That's the good
Yeah. So
stuff
it's
right there.
yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't unwrapped it yet. I haven't unwrapped it yet.
yeah.
Like I was going through this. So what do we got? We got tramp stamp and
You got
probably
freezer
freezer
filler there.
filler. Yep, tramp stamp,
Yeah,
freezer filler. I mean, I was going through. I'm not gonna lie, man. I go through this stuff really like Grant went through Richmond, man. I'm like, it's no joke, you know. Um,
yeah.
they come in and dude, after my conversation with you about these nuggets and what to do with them, how to use them,
Right.
I started getting winded every now and once in a while. Like every so often, I had some bad winds, but there were days I'm like, I'm going out there. I'm not going to sit home and do nothing. I'm going out hunting, and I probably went out on days that I shouldn't have, wind wise. But I did what you told me to do and just set these out in front of me, and they overpowered the scent cone. I can't tell you. Well, I can tell you. I mean, I don't think I hunted a day this season, especially at that one location, where I didn't at least see a deer. Not just to mention have deer come in to shootable range. You know what I mean? Um, and between those and of course I'm baiting corn the whole 9 yards and whatnot. I always kept it. I don't do mineral blocks. I use that Antler King um, Graniac XL.
Yeah, the big block they have. Yeah,
Oh my God, there's so much in like that there. That's a food. I mean, that's this. I've never had so much success with a food block. Like we've all put the mineral blocks out and all that stuff, and some of the other food blocks. They're real dense. They're
yeah.
compact. Thing lasts me all year long. I went through probably 30 to 40 blocks this year of that Graniac XXL. I mean, everything was eating it. And I mean, eating it, standing there, $2. I have bucks on video at night. Boom, boom, boom. Faces all around it. Look like us bellying up to the bar, you know? So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's a great product.
and
Oh, the
so was that,
nuggets. I
dude.
tell you
So
what.
was that.
Listen, I'm biased as anything because obviously I make those products, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
hunt without. I have some scent with me all the time being used, whether it's something I'm one of my products as a cover scent or
Right,
an attractant or a drag or in a scrape. Scrapes are massive. I'm going to do a whole bunch of videos on scrapes,
right.
but those nuggets are so versatile. They're so versatile that I tell people all the time, depending on how you use them it could really change. It could change it for you because
Oh,
it could be
100%.
utilized as just a herd scent. And
Hmm.
if you leave the cover on, if you lay the jar on the ground and leave the cover on 3/4, so you let a little less out, two things. You can control the amount of scent that's out there, and you might have that product for a whole year. One jar might last you the whole season
Oh, I was taking it
with
out
no
in smaller jars, in smaller like pill bottles. Like
right.
some of my supplements, I would put it, once I rinse them out, get whatever scent out, and put some of them in there. And I would leave it. Like if I knew I was going to come back and hunt later on, like the morning, I'm going to
Yeah.
go home for the afternoon and come back for the evening. I would actually leave that sit there. I
Hmm.
sometimes I would leave it sit open even in my blind just to air, like to get rid of whatever B-Stav stink that I left in there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It will.
yeah. You remember that
It'll.
video I sent you years ago? I did that mock scrape, and I forget what I was using. It most likely was tramp stamp. And you remember it was a lesser buck, same place where I was hunting. It was 2 years ago, and that buck come over and almost knocked my camera off the tree because I made the scrape under the tree that my camera
Right.
was on, my trail camera, and this dude come over there and blah, 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 and you see him pawing, and he wouldn't have went over there. It wasn't just because I went there and pawed. I pawed it out, but then I put tramp stamp in there. So I'm telling you, if anybody's watching, like, oh, and it's in Jersey, we have to use synthetic.
Yes.
We can't use real, right?
Correct.
EHD and all the other stuff that's going on. Um, anybody wants to tell me this shit don't work? I'm not even gonna have a conversation with them because I watched it.
It's definitely working.
Yeah,
CWD is what is the reason why the state of New Jersey, as well as other states, have decided
right,
to not allow natural deer urine or natural deer products in the state.
right,
Um, that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother podcast I'm working on. I think I'm gonna
right,
have Nugent on with me and a couple of the deer doctors. We're going to talk about CWD because it's extremely important. It's a hot topic, and it's not necessarily exactly the way they want us to believe it. That's a whole
okay.
nother conversation.
Well, that's a
But I will tell
conversation
you,
I want
and
to have with
Bob,
you. Yeah.
yeah, the synthetic that I make, I've been making for a long time, way before Jersey needed it or wanted it to be the only thing used. Um, it's incredible. I mean,
Right.
I have Midwestern guys that can use natural scent that are all using the synthetic because
Wow.
they have, number one, if you hunt and travel, you should only you either have to know every game law in every state,
Right.
or you better be carrying synthetic, right? So the
Yep.
most important thing is that, oh, another nice hat.
No, I'm
The
sweating.
most
Yeah, I'm sweating. Oh, a little B
ah,
stab on there too. My buddy bought this for
I
me. Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. But the thing about these Midwestern guys, a lot of these guys are the most important thing. Ah,
Hmm.
nice, very
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
The most important thing is that the scent works. If it doesn't work, doesn't matter. Nobody's going to use it. But
All right.
because it works, because it's synthetic, because it's 50 state legal, it makes it's a smarter decision for a lot of these guys. It's a little more stable. It has a little more lastability than not a whole lot, but
Right.
and it's man-made, so it's more controlled.
Right.
Obviously, there's no issues with CWD in the synthetic because
No.
there's nothing in there that's real deer. But the truth of the matter is, we are all very lucky that deer are curious animals, and they go to that synthetic scent as well as the natural scent, without a doubt. Anybody tells
Proof
you
positive.
otherwise, yeah, it's just not true. But the whole point of the how we got to here, I don't know, and I appreciate you again.
I don't
I
know, dude.
appreciate you
This is
using
like our
that, but
typical phone conversations.
this is our phone conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole point was that the B-Stav fishing thing turned into the B-Stav hunting thing as well as
Yeah.
the fishing. And you got a really cool thing going on.
Thank you, brother.
And anybody who doesn't follow you, um, start following Bob, or at least watch some of his videos, and eventually you're gonna hit the subscribe button because everything you have there is really cool content. And I enjoy watching the hunting stuff. Now, the fact that you're using some of my stuff and some other people's stuff, it's great. It's interesting. You're a real world guy. You're going out there, you're spending your hard-earned money, and you're going out there and you're buying products that help you be successful in the water, on the water,
Hmm.
in the woods, and people are learning from you. So keep up the great work, man.
Thanks,
Don't
brother, man.
don't let anybody discourage you. Keep going, man. You're full steam ahead right now.
Yeah,
Really.
I appreciate it, man. I'm telling you that, I told you what happened to me in at that one tournament, and you were definitely a guy that you put my mind back where it was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you train guys when you were in the department and whatnot, if you're like an FTO, but of course you're going to take whatever rookie comes on. The old bucks, we take them under our wing anyway, and they learn from us. But yeah, man, you're always, and I'm not to blow up, blowing your smoke up your skirt. We don't have time for that nonsense, right? You and I think are well beyond that. You're just always that guy that's like, man, if I don't think what I'm doing, like, man, maybe it's not worth it. Man, it's worth it because 5 minutes on a conversation with you, dude, and it's just, and I appreciate you puff my chest back up, man. You pat me on the back and you push me forward, and you always got you're always positive. You always got words of encouragement. I can't tell you how much it's appreciated.
No, Bob, I thank you for saying that. I wouldn't normally do that if I thought it was going to be fall on deaf ears. But for
Right.
you, you're there. You're there. And
Thank you,
we're old
brother.
enough where if we get a little discouraged once in a while, we all need a little boost. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. And
Yep.
I see it in you. I see it in you as I don't want to see you do anything else, man. I love it. I enjoy it. So I'm enjoying. I'm only telling you to keep going because I'm selfish and I like what you're
You
doing. I think it's cool.
selfish son of a bitch.
Oh,
I
we
appreciate
are.
it,
I'll tell
man.
you what. We are lucky because we're surrounded by so many good people, and
Yeah.
um, the negative people. There's negative people in my life too, and I try to keep them at a minimum. But you know, we got so many good people in the outdoor industry. I was talking to
Oh,
somebody.
huge.
I forgot. I was talking to somebody about going like to the ATA show, the archery trade show years ago. It's a huge show, and I said to him, I got to meet some famous people, and it was really cool. People in the outdoor industry. But what
Right.
I liked the best about it was how so many people are grounded. They're normal people. They're positive people, and they are all enjoying what me and you enjoy. We enjoy life. We enjoy the outdoors. We enjoy the fishing, the camaraderie of doing it with
Yeah.
friends, family. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
So
man. Yep.
I try to be positive whenever I can for myself and for people like you and friends and and yeah, in the fire department, I considered myself, they call it a red ass. I considered myself a new guy for many, many years. It wasn't a year or two after I got on the job that all of a sudden I thought I knew something. I was always learning. I
Oh
mean, like
yeah.
you said, we had Vietnam vets that saw things that we couldn't even imagine,
Correct.
that knew how to have fun and get the job done when necessary. I learned from them. And yeah, I eventually was a captain. I was training guys, but I was always getting trained too. So it just never ends. The whole point is the positive thing goes a much longer way than the sour thing, Be
It does.
positive
Yeah.
and it's a great outlook to have on life. And and we're doing what we love, and I love what you're doing. So
Thanks,
I'm
dude.
going to wrap it up. I just want to tell you, first of all, thanks so much for coming on here. I know it wasn't a big stretch because we talked,
Right.
but we got you on here. I think it's cool. It's another aspect of what you're doing that people get to see. I enjoy doing this, so for that reason, I thankful to you. And you've also supported my products and used my products and have
Ah,
been very
always,
honest
man.
with me. You've been very honest, so I appreciate that too. So it's really important. But
Yeah, you can't always have
overall,
yes people, right? You can't always have yes people. It's
no,
like, listen, I know if I thought something that you did or something you sent me, it was like, oh, like you've seen I know you've the oh God, the Jersey fluke bellies, right? Right?
yeah,
The strips.
yes,
You sent me the originals. Oh man, I was tearing it up with those things, and you're like, yeah, we're going to even
right,
change and make them better. I'm like, you're always that guy that you're always like, okay, I did it, but what if I do this, and what if I can, why or we're here, let's come here. The moment,
right.
like you said, training and learning, the moment we say, yeah, I know it all. Guess what? You might as well just hang it up. Yeah, and hang it
Yeah.
up. Game over. But
100%,
yeah,
hundred
I love your
percent. I
stuff, dude.
agree
I
with you.
love your products.
I agree, and I'm going to tell you as much as I'm against the fact that or the reasoning why they're making New Jersey use the synthetic scents.
Right.
I actually, like you said, my natural deer lures were so popular all over the country, especially in Jersey and the whole
Right.
tri-state area. When the synthetic thing came, I had already been working on it so much. Like you said, I never got complacent with what I had. I was
Right.
already working on that. So it just it was like I welcomed it with open arms because I already knew it worked because it had
Right.
been tested by people like yourself, not you in particular, but I
Sure.
used people to test things. And I'm like, why would I test this? I'm like, because one day they're probably going to, New Jersey follows suit more than, instead of paving the way, they're more followers. They're not really,
Oh yeah.
I hate to say it, but there's a lot of things in the state that aren't really leading the way. So I
No.
knew it was coming.
No.
And I'm trying to be nice as I say
Oh,
that,
yeah, listen,
but
I'm trying to not to turn
yeah,
this as political as
yeah,
possible, but
I
yeah.
know.
Or should I
But
say
we're
anything else? Yeah, I know. I get it. I
I know,
get
but
it.
you're right. I try not to really rest without,
Right.
I enjoy forging ahead and trying to come up with some new things.
Yes, sir.
Um, but we're wrapping it up, Bob. Thanks so
Cool,
much.
brother.
Listen, I'm gonna pop up some stuff on here so they know B-Stav Fishing
Oh,
Nation.
thank you.
They're definitely, man. They're gonna know where to find you. And some of the people you mentioned, I might throw something up for them as well because
Cool.
if they've inspired you, then those are good people, and
Yeah,
you're
man.
inspiring me and other people.
Thank you,
So,
Bob.
um, listen, we're looking for fluke season's about to get started. I can't wait to watch you out on
May
the
the
water with the
fourth be
fluke.
with you, brother. May the fourth be with you.
Yes.
Try to do my little,
Uh,
my
eh,
Yoda shit. Yep, my my
yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm sure we're going to talk. No doubt we're going to talk. We may have you back on here again whenever you want. You're welcome. Always come on.
Thank you,
Maybe
brother. I
before
love
the
it.
hunting season. I'm looking forward to your fishing content coming up. And then as
Yep.
the weather starts to change in September, B-Stav hunting will be out and about with the
Oh
camera
yeah,
on the
man.
hat.
Just
Can't
call me. I'll
wait.
be there. I'll gotta go.
Something might come forge you through that back door. All right, Bob. Thanks a million, buddy.
Dude, love you, pal. Thank you, brother.
Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Bye now.